Award-winning journalist Ann Curry is the executive producer and reporter for a fascinating new PBS show that allows us to witness dramatic reunions called We'll Meet Again. Ann is here to tell us all about it. Ann, welcome to Nashville and Talk of the Town. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Morning, Nashville, and hello, Leland. Thanks so much for having us.
When you were with NBC News, you had the opportunity to travel the world covering great stories, but within that, there were many tough stories and hard stories about war. With this new show, you seem to have more of a feel-good tint to things. Tell us about your new show.
Well, as you know, as you just said, I've covered a lot of world-changing events, wars, humanitarian disasters. I've spent a lifetime doing that, as well as political upheavals. So this series is essentially not covering the stories as they're happening, right? But after they've happened and after people have had time to have perspective, common men and women caught up in these events, who have no power over what's happening, who are now remembering that there was that one person who helped them survive emotionally or physically, and they're looking for that person. They're trying to find them, and what we do is we help them get the experts, and we document their effort to find that person, and when possible, we document their reunions with that person. So you learn a lot about the historical moment, whether it's Vietnam or the Civil Rights Movement, or new details about World War II. Tonight's is going to be about the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and you essentially see it from the eyes, not of presidents and generals, but from common men and women who are caught up in it, who give you this perspective. And you really also come away with is the gorgeousness of our human spirit, how we, in terrible moments, reach out to help each other, and how much we can mean to each other. And in these times, when sometimes you feel like people are not listening to each other and speaking to each other, it's good to be reminded of all this good stuff we're made of.
All right, one episode has already aired. Are you happy with the feedback that you've gotten from that first episode?
Wow, it's been off the hook, Leland. I'm stunned by it, and it's really great. But I think it speaks to also a need that people have. I'd like to take all the credit that our series is so great, and it is pretty great in my view. But I think that it also reflects a need that people have to hear stories with perspective, to hear stories that reflect a kind of less yelling kind of look and worrisome look at the world, and a more sort of calmer documentary sort of look at the world. So I think that may be it. I don't know, but it's been lovely.
Good. Hey, before we let you go, I gotta get one more question in concerning what's been in the news a lot lately. A lot of people know publicly your issues there with the Today Show and leaving it. So I want to talk more about the present and this turn that we have seen with the Me Too movement here. Are you pleased with where we are right now with things that are going on to empower women, and especially young women?
Well, we are now in a position with a new awareness about a widespread, systematic problem across this country, across industries, not just in Hollywood and media, but on factory floors, in plants. Women are enduring an injustice, and men also are enduring an injustice. And it's not about being attracted to somebody. It's about an imbalance of power, and when some people in power are abusing that power and hurting people in a terrible way, and how this must end. I've had men come up to me and say, I don't know how to talk to my daughter about this. I've got to prepare her. She's about to head into the working place. I think men and women should stand up together to protect the future generations against this kind of injustice. We're talking about a small percentage of men, generally in power, who are using that power in an unjust way. And I think both men and women in this country don't want that to be part of the future for our children and their children. And so this is a time to stop, actually not just talk, I think we should talk about it, but we should start talking about what actions need to be taken to create real systematic change, so that that none of these victims have got to suffer the stigma, have got to suffer in silence, have to suffer being sidelined, and that itself is a is not only hurtful to them, it's hurtful to our productivity as a nation.
Yes.
It's unpatriotic in my view.
Well, I agree. As the parent of a son and a daughter, I agree 100%. Thank you for being with us today, and great to see you back on television.
Thank you, Leland. It's great to talk to you, and a big kiss to all of you in Nashville.
Fantastic. Check your local listings for dates and times for the PBS series. We'll meet again.